Noisy. All right. So today, talking about Californian fires, LA, that kind of thing. There's a fair few things going on. I've just been collecting some info and just throwing it together. So this wasn't over-scripted or anything. I'm just throwing one out there with a lot of interesting stuff that I was looking at this morning. So I'll just pull in this one. Alright, so a lot of these are tweets and stuff. I can't verify every single thing. It's always very hard to verify everything, but most of the stuff I found, I can tell that it is actually California and it's not old footage, just due to, you know, number plates, things written on buildings, that kind of thing. Because I have seen some stuff coming from the Maui fires that was, you know, that's kind of old stuff now. So just making sure I'm not getting those two confused, and we'll go. So I'll just get rid of this background. I'll just put it on something that's going to read chat and stuff. All right. Yeah. So obviously it's been pretty hard for anyone in America at present, especially LA and that kind of stuff. You know, it's been pretty traumatic, and anything I say here is not a fact or anything. I'm just kind of, you know, debunking a few things, as well as just having a look at some other stories that media won't cover. So that's quite normal. They have a, you know, an agenda to do what they're doing, that kind of thing. So we'll just see if I can pull up this video here. All right, so we've got lots of stuff going on. I'll just move that thing out of my way as well. All right. Yeah, so you can see here, they've got, problems aren't over yet. So we've got massive winds coming in Saturday. So it's Saturday here in Australia, so this is probably 12 hours away, something like that. With that being said, they're talking hurricane force. So at the moment they've had some gusty stuff going on, but this could really turn it up. This could be extremely messy for fire crews and you know, and everyone involved. So that's something to not look forward to tomorrow in America. Like to say roughly 12 hours from now, I'd say. So I'm just going to start with some easy kind of stuff and work into you know, possible weirder stuff towards the end of the stream, because like we'll just go through the basics. There's some, you know, lots of smoke. You can see on screen here, that's some serious smoke. They're lucky at the moment it's going out to sea, but what's been quite funny about the winds and the fire is that it sort of started east, it's gone, you know, north and south, west. It's done the 4 points of the compass, so that's pretty interesting. I don't know if you could put it down to ritual stuff, but you know, very interesting. The cardinal points are, you know, they're quite a powerful thing, and it's kind of weird that a fire could do that. I think the Maui fire did the same. I think the there was a big fire in Australia, I don't know, now 10 years ago, did the same thing. The winds just happened to change like a square and sent this thing, you know, engulfing towns, went around, going around the town, destroying the joint. So yeah, smoke and all the standard sort of boring stuff is happening. The fire's kind of weird, you know. A lot of people carry on that the trees aren't burnt, buildings are all burnt, and the trees aren't burnt. Well, that's kind of, you know, it's kind of true. Like you'll see a lot of footage. I'll move into some other footage here, and we will get this one up. Yeah, so when you've got trees not burning, they're wet, you know, like gum trees in Australia that are green or, you know, full of water, they explode because they're full of gum and, you know, that sap and that kind of thing. Pine needles on pine trees, they just explode and they're green. You know, other trees will do the same thing, but, you know, in LA might be a little bit different. There's a lot of palm trees and things like that. They've only got a few leaves on them, really. And if you've ever tried to set a piece of wood on fire that's standing up vertically, even dry, it's very hard. Things lying on the ground, bang, they're gone. They'll light up. But a piece of wood, put a fire on, you know, stick into like a post in the ground, put a fire around it, takes forever to set that thing on fire. So I'm not overly going to carry on about trees not burning, because I am seeing a lot of comments about trees not burning, people getting upset that the trees aren't burning, thinking that's really sus. Well, I don't know. I don't know if 100% that's how it works. So you can see these photos are just, that's devastating stuff. That's, you know, and as we go through, you kind of, you know, if you haven't really seen what's going on, you know, you'll get a bit of an idea of what's going on. And again, possible weird stuff that's going on in the background. I'm not going to talk politics. I'm not an American. I hate our own politicians, let alone yours. Yours are dog shit on my shoe, just like ours are. So if you're an American in here, I'm not taking sides of any of it. I don't really care. They're all on the same team. They're all actors, and they couldn't give a shit about any of it. So not interested in that. So you've got you know, interesting stuff like this slide that's just come up. So this is a reservoir which would generally feed hydrants and that kind of thing in LA. And as you can see by the photo on the left, that's when it's got water in it. That's a couple of million litres of water there, probably 50 million litres of water. That would be quite useful in a big bushfire. And you can see on the right there, it's empty. So a month ago they decided they've got to clean it or do something to it. So they empty the water out, and so this is at the top of the hills. Gravity fed down to, you know, to LA and surrounds, but unfortunately, just by chance, they needed to repair it a month ago. Like, I kind of don't understand LA. Never been there, don't know it. I know it's a desert, but like, winter fires is kind of wet, you know, a bit weird to me. In Australia, we're summer now, so I expect a fire any day. Today we're 38 degrees. I don't know what that is, just under 100 in American terms, and that's damn hot, and it's windy. So I live in a rural town. I expect this thing to burn down one day. It's what happens in summer. But in winter, I don't think so. In winter, if there was a fire raging, I'd just sit here doing a live about it. Couldn't care. Not moving, don't care. So I find it that bit weird, but maybe, you know, just the conditions were right, that kind of thing. Generally too, like I used to join, I was in like a part of a volunteer fire service. The first thing you do when there's a fire is make breaks. Like you get a bulldozer and you push all the trees over and you clear an area, and that doesn't burn. And it's also interesting looking, I'll just get to the next slide. It's interesting looking at all these photos. It's just concrete burning. Like, I know there's a lot of plastic and, you know, there is wood and all that kind of stuff. So, but it's funny that I've never seen a fire burn so quickly through concrete jungles, because a lot of these houses look like concrete jungles. But again, not being in LA, maybe they're building all their houses are built out of cardboard. I don't know. Maybe they just look really good, but they're actually just cardboard sticky taped together, and that goes up in a second. I don't know. You can see this one on screen. There's, you know, Newsom. Again, I'm not going into politics. I don't care about politics, but there's already investigations into why power and hydrants weren't working, and so everyone's already doing the blame everyone else kind of crap, when I'd say he's quite responsible for a lot of this. But he will just, you know, a lot of little people will get sacked, and these clowns, it doesn't matter what they do or what they don't do, and at the moment it's probably more what they don't do that's the problem, or what they do deliberately. You know, these clowns don't seem to, you know, care either way. They're only worried about their own back pocket and staying in power. So you can see here we've got the same guy asking Joe Biden to censor the news about the wildfires. It's disinformation to talk about fires, apparently, especially if you're talking about politicians being useless. So apparently, you know, their standard censorship's still going on strong. I think that's the only good thing, or the only thing the government's been really, really good at in the last 5 years with all their little practice runs, is censoring us. And I think they actually think they're relevant when they're not. No one gives a shit. And personally, I couldn't give a shit about Hollywood people either. Now, saying that, I'm not heartless, and I feel bad for anyone in this fire, anyone who's lost their homes, their pets, or family members. It's tragic, and it's not something to make fun of. And I'm not here to make fun of anyone and seem cruel-hearted. That's not what I'm here to do. Again, you know, I don't, like, my version of my prayer is not a Catholic religious thing, but prayers to all these people who are having to deal with this kind of event, because it's tragic. And again, in Australia, we're used to this kind of stuff. I worked in a firefighting crew and we lost people. I've been around 3 people who died fighting fires. And for the luck of the draw that day for me, I actually went to party on New Year's Eve, And I was the last house that they came to grab me to come and fight this fire, and I had better things to do, so they all died and I lived. So I get fires. I've lived in places that were very fire prone, in the back of forests and things like that. So, you know, you wouldn't expect that though, living in LA. Like I wouldn't. If I've got one of these cardboard shoebox mansion things, McMansions or whatever they build over there, I would truly not think it would be a problem. Like even if one or two houses went up, you'd think, I don't know, someone would put them out. And then you got all this tar on the road between them. It's not like LA is full of bush. The places I live, we got gum trees and they literally do explode with just a match going near one because they're full of oils, very flammable oils. So you'd kind of expect that, you know, at the end of the day, sort of, you know, but again, this is LA. This is like a place which is just concrete and a few palm trees. So, you know, kind of weird, but, you know, well, I don't know. Again, at the end, I'm going to cover a few things that could be a possibility, whether deliberate or not. It would be a worry if any of these, you know, scenarios were true or had been played out, that kind of thing. So, but, you know, that's back to the reservoir, that kind of thing running in the background. So also, I think Maui was supposed to be, well, it's planned to be a smart city. And funny, that all burnt down. What was that, 2 years ago now? Not 100%, a year ago, 2 years ago? Time just flies. I'll call it 2 years ago, I don't know. But you know, that was convenient. Clear the land, don't have to bulldoze anything, just burn it to the ground and you can build your smart cities, which seem to be very much on the agenda. And again, me just saying smart cities, that's probably disinformation. Our councils put out special little newsletters about it, saying, don't spread disinformation, you'll love your little smart cities. We're not really doing them, but we are, but whatever, you know, that's the kind of clown world that it is at the moment. So funny enough, LA and especially Waterfront, they want to be a smart city. So the only way to really do that is push people out, drop the land value, and demolish the place as cheaply as possible. Fire's pretty cheap. Box of matches, what, 50 cents? Box of matches, 100 matches in it, that's 100 fires. But being that said, you know, we'll probably have a ban on lighters and fires, so matches and stuff soon enough. You know, it's just clown world. So you can see the silliness that goes on. Like 60 fire engines were sent to California fires and they're not on the fire lines yet. They've been ordered to submit to DOT for inspection. Want to make sure their tyres aren't bald and, you know, their blinkers are working. You need blinkers and brake lights. Imagine if one of those fire trucks had a broken tail light. My God, that could just cause problems for them. So apparently, yeah, they're being scheduled to sit around for 24 hours instead of fighting fires. They've got to get their vehicles inspected. Okay. Seems pretty weird, and a lot of these guys have driven 400 miles. In my terms, that's 800 to 1,000 kilometres. That's a fair way to come and help, and then to have to sit around doing nothing while you watch everything burn to the ground. I don't know whether that's incompetence or deliberate. A lot of these things, I don't know, just seems too deliberate. And after the last few years of watching Clown World just go off the Richter scale, there are no coincidences anymore. Everything happens for a reason, and someone earns money out of, you know, the chaos that ensues. I'm seeing a lot of people kind of funny things like, you know, we'll cover it, you know, we'll get there, but you got lithium batteries exploding in Tesla cars. You've got people who can't leave the city because they've got a Tesla car and it's not charged. So on one hand, you've got all these problems from stupid EVs, which are just ridiculous. Total joke, just foolish. But anyway, if you own an EV, good on you. But good luck in a situation like this. You're driving around in a bomb that could go up any moment from high heats if you're just driving through fires. Salt water, if you drove into like a bit of water to, you know, think you can get away from flames, it'll blow up. There's a million reasons those things blow up, and when they do blow up, you need a lot of water to put that shit out. So, you know, we got Teslas, and not just Teslas now, like obviously most of the car companies are doing this stupidity. You know, so you've got this problem where they're bulldozing cars off the highways to get the emergency vehicles through. That sets off the battery. So you got all these problems, and the biggest problem is it takes about 6,000 gallons or 12,000 litres of water to put out one EV battery. They just don't go out, and the toxic smoke will kill everyone within them. You know, in 2 years you've all got cancer if you were standing around trying to help put that fire in. So you got all these dramas, but then you also got Starlink being promoted. So Musk is making money once again. All right, now, like this one, I'm not going to say much because I'll probably get this thing pulled, but I'll just put this here. Anyone who can read, just look at the screen. Isn't that weird though? All three highest up have all got the same first name. Pretty weird, but you know, I'm not going into that. That's not my job today. Just an interesting thing. I found that they've all got the same first name. I found that really MK Ultra. I just did. I'm like, what are the chances? Like seriously, winning the lottery, you probably got more luck. And for those people we just saw in that image, it kind of makes me not surprised that the place is burning to the ground and mismanagement is awry. You know, not surprised at all. Alright, so it also is a bit funny that so many Hollywood movies, so here we are, Teslas, look at them all, look at them all. There's like a charging station around the corner, and look at them all. They're just sitting there as the place burns down, desperate to get a charge so they can evacuate. Bit of a shit show, that one. I think I'll keep my petrol one, just go to a servo, fill up and get the shit out of there, you know. So this one on screen, we've got small fires popping up. I don't know, fires aren't red like that. They look like flares to me. So I'd say a lot of these fires are deliberately lit. You know, the copycat kind of stuff happens, you know, and it's just how it is. So you got, look, again, I'm not even going into this one. I'm just not touching that, but she's one of the ones with the same first name as the rest of them. And yeah, so diversity is our strength. Anyway, I'll just let these clowns move along. But yeah, I don't really feel safe with people like that looking after me, because they kind of, well, to me, as a white male, they hate my guts for no reason. I don't hate them, I just find them ridiculous. And everyone's allowed to do whatever they want to do, and they can say whatever they want to say. You know, freedom of movement, choice, and freedom of your own body is really important, and they're the basics we've always got to keep. So the clowns can be clowns, that's fine by me. Oh, that's just a bit of silliness, just memes starting to come in. Bit of a reptilian meme there, playing with the weather machine. Yeah, well, you got that one as well. I'm not really going to say all those words either. So you've got 113 firefighters that couldn't come and help because they wouldn't do what they were told to do the last few years. So good on you. Probably the 113 best firefighters they have too. But anyway, that's how the world is. So 10 dead. I'm not really sure. I haven't been keeping account on the death numbers. I don't really, you know, that's not what I want to do. But, you know, hopefully it stays low, because I consider that quite low. There we go. We're one billionaire who owns almost all the water in California. So he seized control of the public water. And so go and knock on that prick's door and ask him if he'll turn on his tap for you all. Now this one, well, I know we're flying through, but there's a bit to get through. That's flame retardant, fire retardant coming out of big planes and doing an amazing job, like pretty good pilots coming in that low and being scary. But again, people are just standing around filming this and this shit's landing in their face. I wouldn't be standing underneath that red shit that they're dropping on your face, because they've accidentally kind of put it in our water systems locally, and it's killed all the fish and we can't go fishing anymore from fire retardants, just leaching into the water table. So you get, you know, it's that thing, they put out one millionaire's house and now the groundwater is going to be contaminated for 1,000 years. So you kind of got to weigh up the stupidity in events like this. And, you know, if they've got access to water, I think I'd rather them bomb with water than chemicals that, you know, even when they say these ones aren't poisonous, in 10 years later, that's what happens, they are. And you can see a lot of this going on. People who own like $5 million homes are getting offered money for them already. So it's follow the money on that kind of stuff. Like who's desperately running around trying to get this, you know, fire sale, bomb on properties? You know, you want to follow the money there. I wonder in about a month or two whether we can see how much Musk, Gates, or any one of these rich people, Trump, whoever's got money, I bet you they're buying up this shithole already. And I don't know if I would. I live in a desert. Australia's a desert, but I wouldn't choose to go and live in the deserty bit. Try to keep away from that. You got all these dramas. Like I can't even keep up with how many dramas they got, and just the amount of stupidity. You know, they didn't test their fire hydrants a month ago when they were supposed to, for no apparent reason. So they didn't work, funnily enough. So that's what happens when you don't test your gear, or you deliberately buggerise your gear up. You're going to get that, you know. A lot of historic buildings going down, so that's always sad. Historic things, it's almost like they hate historic things. They want the new, they want the big skyscraper. Look at all that land, they shouldn't have that land. They should build a skyscraper for their smart city on that property. Now they can, and they can get it dirt cheap. A lot of looting going on. It's not to be. It's not unexpected. This is America. Like, you know, Australia's untrustworthy people at the best of times, but I don't know, you Americans lead the way in stupidity for crime and everything else. I don't know, it's pretty weird. Just shocking shots, everything burnt to the ground. The weird thing is, like this one, the Great Chicago Fire. I love my history. History's like just one of my favourite little things to research, and it just brings everything into perspective as to why everything's so shit now, basically. And you can see every kid in the US learns the Great Chicago Fire, which was 200,000 acres. But this fire already, we're marked up to 17,000, not 2,000, 17,000 acres. You can see down there, you got the purple, that's the devastation. And this is actually a little bit old, this map. So this is maybe 8 hours old or something like that. So we're probably looking at 20,000 acres burnt out by now. And again, talking about the wind coming in on Saturday, in about 12 hours roughly, that's probably going to make this a lot worse than it's already been, which would seem not possible, but it can happen. And you can see there the red bit, that's the Great Chicago Fires. So, you know, this thing's daunting. Don't bother teaching the kids about the Chicago Fires anymore. It'll just make people annoyed, because this fire's already outdone that by probably now 5 times, 10 times coming on. Easily 5 before, now at least 10 times the size. So pretty substantial area getting levelled. Good, look, you could fit a good smart city. It's almost like the grid of the smart city. The Chicago one's where they start the smart city, and all the other plebs just move away and they plant whatever, trees that you can't burn or something, I don't know. So you can sort of, you know, again, some of these maps, like this, fires move at rapid speed. So any map that I pull up is probably, you know, probably old and outdated, unless I'm pulling them up right now. Oh, what a shame. Hunter Biden's home's destroyed. At least he'll get lots of insurance money, and he can burn all those documents that he didn't want anyone to find. It's kind of convenient that the LA kind of deserves this the most, with all your ditties and everything. Well, this was convenient because all that evidence is gone too. Bet you all the courthouses burned down that are holding all that evidence and stuff just by chance. Looks like the police are bailing town. They're going the wrong way, so that's the wrong way. So there's a fair few vehicles on that highway too. I don't know, I could count maybe 50, 60 police cars going away from the evacuation zone. So they're scared, they want to. Maybe there was a sale on donuts down the road, I don't know. It's hard to know what's going on. Another example of the size of some of these, and that's only one of the fire, which obviously it's going up. So we got 17,000 acres. The size of New York City, Manhattan is 14,000. So, you know, if you live in Manhattan, that whole place is already burnt to the ground and worse. This is about 2 hours ago, so, you know, it gives you a bit of a show of numbers. So it's growing, of course it is. It's a fire and no one can put it out because they've got no water. So, you know, that's obviously going to make life a bit difficult. So, no prepping before fires and that kind of thing. Yeah, that's what happened in Maui. So, you know, they happened to run out of water as well. That kind of stuff. In a little bit, I'll actually show you footage of some really weird shit going on, like things that look like, and these are often news footage, which looks like missiles flying through the air. And drones, of course, being involved. There's some footage of drones, and you got the weird laser stuff going on. So we'll get to that. We're just kind of plottering through this one. So I've turned sound off for all these clips because I'm just doing a breakdown, a decoding, whatever you want to call it. And I don't need to be flagged for, you know, whatever the people are saying. Here we go. Got some guys tossing big bottles of gasoline all over the place. I might just get rid of that title. It's actually a bit annoying being there. All right, yeah, so this monkey here's just pulled out about, I don't know, in your gallons, a 5-gallon container out of the back of his car and just throws it across the road where the fire is. So that's normal. Yeah, this is what we were talking about a minute ago. So water and ion batteries don't mix. Funnily enough, Teslas and everything else, they're made of like the worst type of lithium battery you can get. Like I've got a fair few lithium batteries on my house. I live in town, but I'm off grid at the same time. And, you know, potassium ion is a lot safer. And, you know, it generally takes a lot to get one of them on fire. But for whatever reasons, probably the dollars, you know, all these cars that are running around exploding all over the streets and you can't put them out and all the rest of it, they're full of lithium. So if they're damaged, it forms a chemical reaction, fires, explosions. Salt water's really bad, so don't go near the ocean. And keep batteries away from anything that can catch fire. So I don't know, you might as well drive your cars off a cliff because You know, they've just become more dangerous than ever when you've got heat near them. So even if your house has nearly made it through, once the Tesla explodes from heat or cold or whatever the thing's getting upset about, you know, everyone's got a problem. And not being able to put the batteries out, and the chemicals that come off them are totally toxic. So most firefighter crews are told not to even go and put them out, just to put respirators on, stand there and watch it. Well, there's the little fish that Newsom decided to save water for. So I hope everyone in LA is happy that these fish survived the fire, because they're the ones who were allocated all the money instead of you guys to put the fire out. So it's a shame. Yep. So yeah, I just kind of, yeah, there's emergency messages coming in telling everyone. So this is spreading even further. It's going to different places. So there's new fires seem to be starting a lot. So there seems to be, you know, just new ones spreading up. And I've got some good footage I'll try to find. So you got electric cars blowing up everywhere. Just trying to find footage. Oh, there's another one, new breakout. So another fire, another problem. You could see, I'll just see if I can find it. There's satellite imagery video coming in of even the LA fires. When they started, 3 fires broke out all at the same time, which is a bit weird. Right on the minute kind of thing. Satellite photos showing you every building burnt in Eaton. So that's pretty tragic. That's, I don't know, there's only a tiny little bit of stuff left that I can see that are housing, and the fire's heading there anyway, so that doesn't look good. So I'm not 100% sure of the population of Eaton. I could look it up, but I'm just trying to find other videos at the moment that are more entertaining than the population of Eaton. We'll get through that one. What else have we got here? Yeah, they accidentally they've just sent out accidentally to people an emergency message telling people to evacuate that probably shouldn't be yet. So that's a bit of a bummer. So now they're going to clog all the highways up and cause chaos because people just walk away from their cars. Then they need bulldozers to get them out of the way. Here we go. Look, Musk looking good again. So his cars are causing problems, but Starlink deliveries are vital for the emergency. So Musk is always making $1. Doesn't matter what happens, he's making $1. Or getting, you know, just getting free advertising, you know. So he causes one problem with his stupid cars. Apparently he'll give you all communications shortly with Starlink. Surprised they can't set that up a bit faster. I did see, I was just reading then that one of the companies is working with Starlink to turn mobile phones into textable machines for free for a while. Yeah, there's some drone footage, just desolation, you know, you get the idea. I'm not really here to just stare at people's homes that are burnt down. I want to talk about, you know, all the problems, like the reasons why all this shit happens and why it keeps happening. Because this isn't a random event. This didn't just happen out of the blue and hasn't happened before. It's like every bloody year this crap happens. There's Musk again. So he's like, you know, he's been credited, he's a saviour. Again, I told him politics, and it's a shame he's kind of getting involved in politics because I'd like to trash him a bit more, but, you know, anyway, he seems like MKR to me all day long. Came out of nowhere, richest man in the world. Yep, very suspicious, but anyway, as long as he's making money out of all this shit, good on him. While everyone else is suffering, he's making the money. Yeah, there you go, you got your luxury taxes. So they raised 375 million and then they deducted 16 million from being able to put out fires. Not the smartest thing to do. Huh. Interesting. Well, Palestinians are happy that you're all burning down. All right. Okay. Yeah, I kind of saw this one. I'm not going to play it because she basically can't do a job. She's like an engineer or something, so whatever. Her job was to make sure the water flows to the hydrants and she can't do that. And Malibu's looking destroyed. So I think they're looking at, I'm just looking at estimates in the background of damage so far, and they're talking 150 billion already. So that's a few dollars someone's got to pay for. I don't know, that is print more money. Does that pay for it? Does that still work? I'm not sure. Yep, there we go again. We've got lithium batteries causing more problems, but they will, you know. Lithium is just crap. I've also noticed on the EV thing that a few companies, I think I just saw, was it BMW, said they've scrapped EVs and they're going hydrogen. Probably a smarter move, but then I looked at the engines and oh my God, the complexity is ridiculous. So I don't know who can afford to buy the latest tech. I wouldn't be, I'd be waiting around, because just like all the people with their EVs, in 5 years time they'll be worth zero, the batteries will be dead and it won't work, and you'll get a tax to scrap it. And I bet you in less than 2 years you'll have to pay a massive amount of money to scrap your EV, and you won't be allowed to almost sell them second hand and all the rest of it, because the batteries are a big problem and no one knows how to get rid of the batteries. But anyway, it's kind of tied to the fires. I don't, anytime I can diss an EV or an EV owner, I will. So it's kind of tying in a little bit. So it is kind of funny though that Hollywood's been making so many apocalyptic movies, and now they're in the middle of their own one. And yeah, you can see all that shit on screen. I'm not reading all those ones out, I'll probably get flagged. Yeah, it's sort of, I think a lot of the actors are so out of touch, along with the politicians, that, a lot of them would actually think it's probably worth burning down their own house. Not themselves burning their own house down, I'm not saying that, but losing their own house will give them sympathy, because they become totally irrelevant. Like a few years ago, they all got on the stupid gravy train when they weren't allowed to tour, so they went and got paid to publicise things that were not healthy for the general public, I would say. And for that, I have no sympathy really for most of them. They're all MKR Ultra equivalent. They're all sheep idiots that just have minders, and it's, they truly are actors, but their acts never stop. Here we go. This is the one I wanted. Look at this. So that is satellite imagery of 3 fires starting in LA, all on the greenest parts, in the middle of places you can't get to, all at once. Not suspicious at all. That would be typically very normal. And you can kind of see, if you look real close, that there's about 4 or 5 fires in each one. So like a line deliberately lit. So it's not like one fire, there's 4 or 5 coming out. Now, don't know what sort of time lapse we're looking at, but I'd say a few hours. Yeah, so it's all the similar things keep happening, don't they? Fires jump highways, they don't seem to be able to get it under control. Highways are like a massive fire break, you use that to your advantage, but instead, I don't know, it looks like the police are all bailing out of town to get a donut and whatever else is going on. So they've run out of water, no surprise, because they were maintaining the water catchments that fight fires, and then just happened to not fix their hydrants, and all these coincidences that always make it look like it's planned, doesn't it? It's funny that. So, you can kind of see this is reasonably fresh, touring around, So it's pretty messy. And again, I feel sorry for anyone involved with this. I'm not here to pick on people who don't deserve it. Hollywood people deserve it, politicians deserve it, and any other incompetent people who work for the government deserve to be slagged out, and they need to answer questions, which they never do. I just watched the mayor ignoring reporters as she got off a plane. She went to Africa to have a holiday while this shit's going on. She just got back from Africa and wouldn't answer any questions, just walked around like, how dare you even question her? So interesting. I don't think shit like this is helping either. You can buy flamethrower drones. To me, that'd be considered like a gun or a weapon you should need more than just a normal license for. Who the hell is buying flamethrowing drones? And these aren't little drones, they cost a few pennies, but very convenient way of putting out a wasp nest. That's what they're for. That's all they're for. All right, now we're getting a little bit of nitty gritty here. So you can kind of see what that is. Looks like a DW, that kind of thing. I can't verify that image though. I went and had a look, and I don't know, it's kind of people saying that it's in LA somewhere, but I don't know, again, I kind of don't really care for stuff that you can't prove or whatever, but I think from the Maui fires, the Hawaiian fires, there was massive conspiracy around the blue things. Blue bins, blue fences, blue cars, blue everything. So, all the conspiracies seem to always be right. That's what's kind of scary. But you can see here the blue trash cans. We call them bins, trash cans. They don't catch on fire. And they're not the only blue thing. I'm starting to find a few blue things here that, again, coincidentally don't catch on fire right next to, cars that are on fire and things like that. So the blue trash bin thing and the blue roof and all that kind of thing was a thing. With Maui, it became probably one of the biggest things, really, that I heard people discussing as a possible problem. I'm just seeing if I can get to I'll give you a bit of a description. So a DEW is, well, there's different types, but there's a BSLS, which uses solid state lasers or fiber lasers that are tuned in to emit a blue light spectrum. These lasers are known for efficiency and ability to produce high intensity beams. Military personnel can use the blue coloured material, coatings or paint even, to coat vehicles, equipment or protective gear, and it migrates the effects of the BSLM, which is a blue laser. This could involve using specialised paints that reflect the wavelengths, blah, 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 blah. And they say it has advantages in combat scenarios. So obviously you wear blue clothes, driving a blue tank, a laser weapon cannot hit you. Now, funnily enough, there's no denying these weapons do exist. They do. The military's had them for 30, 40 years. So this isn't something new. This is not new tech. This is not SpaceX craziness or anything. So a blue laser reflects off a blue surface. Makes sense to me. And blue lasers are really, really strong. I was just watching a video of people cutting trees down with them. The slightest little pulse from this blue laser, which wasn't very big, was just cutting limbs off trees, and it wasn't an AI thing. So yeah, lasers, pretty scary. So we'll just continue. I'll see if I can get any more shots of blue stuff. Alright, sorry. My computer's a bit chaotic with tabs and info and stuff. So again, I just got up this morning, thought I'm just going to whack this on as a live, throw some concepts out there. And, you know, if anyone else has anything that you'd think makes sense, you can always add it to chat and that kind of thing. Always interested to see what other people say and, you know, what they think. So, alright, so we'll get past this one. Just look in, see if I can find the blue cars. Alright, bear with me a sec. And I should be able to get blue cars. Yeah, so anyway, the Maui fires were like that. There was an incredible amount of blue stuff, and like sometimes it was fabric on like cafe blinds that was still intact when everything else was burned. So I'm not saying it is a DEW, I'm not saying it's a laser thing, I'm not saying anything. I don't know how any of this started. By the look of the footage that I've seen so far, it looks like the highest peaks of the 3 big hills that surround LA all went up at the same time, which that alone, there's enough, you know, there's enough crap going on that that's bad enough. So I don't think you really need laser weapons when that happens, and you do kind of get coincidences, you know. It's how many pictures have been taken of blue, you know, things. Could just be a coincidence that car didn't happen to burn just by chance, and down the street there were 10 red ones that didn't burn, you know. So I'm not saying anything's guaranteed. This is another problem. You know, jumping around a little bit because I'm looking for some more blue things. This fire is going to devastate the food belts, and California actually grows a lot of stuff. Like in Australia, we get your oranges over here. I don't know, we've got orchards. I don't know why we can't pick our own friggin' oranges and eat them, but I don't know, for whatever reason, yours are half the price of ours, which seems a bit silly, but anyway, it's true. There's a fair bit of food in California, and all this smoke with all the lithium battery poison, but not just that, all the plastics, all the paint, all that shit is going to land in your food now. So if they actually started selling that food, I'd consider that a worry without a lot of testing, because it's also going to damage the soil severely. So this fire is not just over once they build their smart city back in its place. It's well and truly not, unless they just concrete over all that soil and stop growing. Maybe that's the plan. Maybe there's no need for that. You know, oh, there's the blue bin. We got a blue dumpster behind a car. Everything else, even a brick wall, looks like it's been destroyed by fire, which can happen. Fires get hot. But you got this blue bin. The lid, the plastic lid, isn't even melted. All right. Well, possibly someone just wheeled it in there, but I doubt it. This is fresh. There's smoke everywhere. You wouldn't be worrying about pushing a bin around collecting rubbish. You know. Bins again. Yes, I don't know what's with blue bins, but anyway, maybe they're really common over there. Ours are always green and other colours, and but yeah, the blue, like that's, you know, it could be in a place where the fire just happened to not hit it, like that tree did fall down next to it on fire, so you'd think that'd be hot enough to melt some plastic, but apparently not. Blue cars, again, like I'm not saying it's a laser, blue laser destroying all this stuff, and that's from 9/11 anyway, so it's not even relevant, so I'll get rid of that. Oh, that's a shame. Shit food's being burnt to the ground. That's probably the only good thing that'll happen out of this, is maybe McDonald's won't build back there. Maybe it's not better for them to build back. I'm not sure, but now this is another concept I'm just going to throw out there. Smart meters, we've got them in Australia, and I don't like them. They can tell a lot of info off your smart meter. They can tell you what appliances you're running when, and they can disconnect your air conditioners if they don't want you to have an air conditioner running, and they do that in Australia. We have running blackouts, not where I live, but up north. So smart meters, there's some talk about them. They could literally set them on fire, like a hack. And some people don't call it a hack; they call it badly made, defective. And a certain signal might be able to make the thing explode and melt and that kind of thing. So smart meters, because there's a lot of concrete buildings on fire that, I don't know. Again, like if it was really bushy with plants like we have here in Australia, eucalypts and things full of oils, I would kind of get the fire jumping so fast, but I'm not an expert on fire, But at the same time, if you wanted to devastate an area, if you could pop smart meters, like if you could make them just pop and catch on fire, man, you could get rid of some cities really quickly, push the old crap out of the way and throw your 15-minute city right there and then, and everyone will be happy, won't they? So it's also seeing a lot of, funnily enough, a lot of Hollywood people all happen to be getting interviewed when their own house is getting burnt down. I've seen like 6 or 7. I just saw Mel Gibson, who's probably one of the only people I'd almost watch a movie from Hollywood, because I think Mel's got the right idea. He's after all the ditties and he's doing his bit, and he probably will end up 6 foot under for doing it, but good on Mel, Someone's got to start talking about shit and pull, everything to attention. Well, he was just, I think he was with Joe Rogan, I was reading, and live on TV in the background, they're watching his house burnt down, It wasn't crying about it or anything, shit happens, what do you do? And insurance will probably replace it. But that is another problem. Now we got the weird shit on the screen. See that thing that just went flying down there? What is that? These is off the news too. You see another one take off like that. It's not the best, clearest footage, but you get the idea. So there's been some little missile-y things flying around in between it all, which is kind of weird. And some drones were seen near fires and that kind of thing. So again, the technology now makes it very easy to set off multiple fires. Like this stupid drone, it's got 160 or something little balls. They call them dragon eggs, which is ironic. And it drops these little balls, which when they hit the ground catch on fire. So these drones can run around and create a fire front like no tomorrow. I know that, Americans love their guns and stuff and you can't take anything away from them, but I don't know, letting people buy shit like this doesn't seem like a good idea to me. Like, you could cause a lot of chaos with that one drone. You can see here what it's doing. It just lights a line. Like, obviously that grass is wet and whatever, so, but so either way, I'm going to leave it to possibilities of smart meters is a weird one. I'll kind of put a little bit of money on smart meters. Don't know about the blue laser direct energy thing. Yeah, I'm not seeing enough blue stuff. Everything's just torched. Everything's gone. Yeah, it looks like just typical total incompetence and a bunch of clowns running the joint. And, that's what you get. You kind of sowed your seed now, and that's, it's going to be a shit show to clean up and toxic. Everything will be toxic from this fire. And again, I'm not here to poke fun or whatever. I don't like Hollywood people, not at all. I think they're just pretty much evil. And maybe this is due, maybe this is karma for them all. And maybe it's not the worst thing to happen. And they can all just maybe give them a bit of time to reflect on what a pack of assholes they are. And maybe even their bosses are sick of them because they've become useless, monkeys, and no one really respects them anymore or gives a shit. AI is going to take over the film industry, within a year or two. So maybe they're just being put out of a job deliberately and made to move. So, who knows? National Guard's in. Good to see the National Guard turning up, and 2 days too late. So they're coming in to stop some of the looters, I suppose. So you've got your open borders and you wonder why the place is getting looted. But that's the thing, like this can also just be a massive distraction. Again, I'm not talking politics, but there's a big changeover about to happen, and you know, following the money, does the new changeover of people in government, who benefits from this? Who would benefit from a massive fire in Hollywood, basically, or LA? You know, Sin City, which is about bloody right. So trying to follow the money, I don't know who I'd put the money on, because you've got people leaving who could get something out of this, and then you've got people coming in who probably would benefit more than anyone. So following the money's something I would have liked to have time to actually research, but this is all too fresh, because I'm going to follow who buys all the land and how much they paid for it, how cheap they can buy this land up for now, and whether the government does the old scammy, oh, it's not worth anything now, the soil's contaminated, everyone gets a quarter of what their real worth for the property is, and the government buys it all and sets up their own cities. So it'll be very interesting all the same. And again, I feel sorry for normal people caught up in this. You know, it's always tragic, loss of life, loss of pets especially. Humans are lower form than pets in half the cases, so poor doggies and cats and all that kind of stuff. Even the goldfish, probably worth more than most humans, so feel sorry for all that as well. But the general destruction of Sin City, I don't know, maybe it's just karma, who knows. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I've rambled on long enough, and thanks for joining, thanks for watching.